I think it's critical to sponsor an event like this. The world is in a bad place. We've got global warming, and we need to recognise that there are things that my generation has done, and it's had unintended consequences. Packaging is part of that problem. Carbon emissions is a problem, and global warming is as a consequence, not just of carbon, but other gases. And I have software in my business which will enable people to make informed choices about the carbon equivalent impact on the environment. Packaging has a very important responsibility to drive any sustainability initiative in that, one, it communicates. There will be information on pack, and that information should be made very simple to enable consumers to make the right decisions. There's a lot of different initiatives. That could be recycling. Then if it is recycling, does it need to be sorted? Does it need to go in a particular bin? It could be that we need to understand why that packaging is doing what it's doing in terms of the barrier. So sometimes I would take pharmaceutical as an example. You need aluminium foil on blister packs, they're pushing tablets through. If you try to compare that to a hygiene company manufacturing toilet tissue, for example, you don't need any of those barriers, you don't need those levels of protection. So you could easily find businesses being able to tell a different story. I think there is a carbon net zero journey, and I think every business is quite unique because of the products they have and the packaging and that's required to pack those products. In short, packaging is communicating to the consumer that which is going to benefit us all, hopefully, in the long run. COP26, I was very, very optimistic. The British government, world leaders, quite literally. We'd had a decarbonisation, an industrial decarbonisation strategy. We had the Competition and Markets Authority comes up with the Green Claims Code. We also have the journey to net zero. Wonderful initiatives. I walked away from COP26 thinking it's going to happen. Very, very sadly, by February, circumstances around the world changed with Russia and the Ukraine situation, which in turn drove inflation. That's impacted via the price of gas or via the price of electricity, price of oil. That was compounded still further in that a ship then got stuck in the Suez Canal, and as a result, lead times got seriously damaged, and it took quite some weeks, months for that situation to be recovered. Compounded still further in the carton board industry, where the Finnish trade unions went on strike for 3 months, frustrating the supply. And with all of these issues, costs were being driven to the suppliers. And as a result, what was a number one initiative at the beginning of the year, sustainability has slipped down and down and down to probably number 4 or number 5. As we go forward and we're heading into COP27, I'm delighted with the US. Biden has secured a $369 billion US dollar investment over 5 years. He will be turning up, I hope, at this event and then challenging leaders from around the world saying, well, I've got my money, what are you doing? If you then coincide that with the work that we've already done in the UK, I think we have the means to spend that money, maybe not his money, we'll have our own UK budget of course, to drive a better and more sustainable future. We've heard a lot about EPR now. We also have some big questions about EPR still, and people are saying we need the government to make some decisions. Quite frankly, I have a slightly different view. I believe we should be advising government this is what we will be doing. I believe that's within our grasp. We just need the confidence to take the reins on that one. From our business perspective, we're all about estimating and understanding the volumes that are going through a packaging producer's manufacturing. We've to do what we do, we walk the production lines. Good old lean, if you will. And so we understand where all the costs are built up. And when I talk about cost, this is a commercial factor, and it's also the cost to the environment. Because more often than not, wherever there's a commercial cost, there's a carbon footprint as well. So we're able to do both of those things. What's been obvious to me coming out of this conference is that EPR is also looking for more granular data. The fact that we do what we do is very granular, it is very accurate. We can, because it's a bottom-up approach, then provide templates and transparency to suit the customer. And because we're not a producer of packaging, we're not a packer filler with a product or a retailer, we are quite authentic in that we can provide data. Someone said to me recently, would you mark your own homework? Would you trust someone that did it? And unfortunately, there are examples on the BBC and Netflix where you can't trust people who mark their own homework, unfortunately. As a result, authenticity becomes very important. Benchmark sits right up front and able to deliver on all fronts, be it for the producers of packaging, but also as a should cost rather than a true cost for the buyers of packaging. And if you go on our website, you'll see pharmaceutical companies, food companies that use us in a consultant capacity.